Papua New Guinea in PNG on a project review mission for a health sector project. I'm a health system specialist. I'm here at ADB and I've been working in the health sector now for a number of years. At the end of my trip, I was invited to join a groundbreaking ceremony. And to access this site, there was two options. The first option was a 4-hour car journey on a dirt road, followed by a 2-hour canoe ride on a crocodile-infested river. The second option was a helicopter ride. Luckily, the second option was made available to me. So I hopped on board and I was looking forwards to what I imagined would have been a small gathering of us with a local community going through the plot of land where this would-be facility was going to be constructed. However, when I got off the helicopter, things were quite different. There was a crowd of over 500 people waiting for us. They had come from the village and all the surrounding villages. There was men dressed up in feathers, women with paint on their face, little children dressed up in crocodile gear. They were here to celebrate and they were excited that we were here. And I realized that moment when I got off that I had seriously misjudged the importance of today in this village in Papua New Guinea. As I mingled through the crowd, there came 3 realizations that I had. First realization was that what we were going to invest in this community was a matter of life and death. There was no other options available to them. If there was a pregnant woman, she had a dangerous or an emergency labor, or an injury victim, remember I mentioned there was crocodiles in the river, there was no other option for them but a 1 to 2 day journey to the closest hospital. My second realization was that they were ready. They had already prepared the land, they had identified and agreed amongst themselves where the land was going to be, they had even flattened the land. They were ready and therefore we needed to be ready to deliver it to them. My third realization that day was that we needed to set the expectations. We were not building a state-of-the-art hospital. We were building a fit-for-purpose rural health center staffed by a nurse and health extension officers. And we needed to cut out the jargon. We needed to speak in plain terms with them in terms of what they were going to expect and by when. But as we know, health infrastructure alone is not sufficient to improve the health experience and health outcomes in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea's life expectancy on average is 65 years. That's a decade less than its Pacific neighbors and almost 2 decades lower than Australia, one of its closest neighbors. So we need to think about how people experience the health sector in Papua New Guinea and better understand their needs so that we can deliver services that are fit for purpose for them. So we need to rethink. Imagine now that we can use digital technology to bridge that gap in these rural remote settings where often they have patchy network, phone networks, and maybe a radio network only. Imagine a future where nurses in these rural health centers can communicate with their peers in hospitals through telemedicine to better deliver services. Or imagine using drones to deliver medicines, bring back samples to the labs, and also possibly using personalized diagnostic kits so people can diagnose themselves in the privacy of their own homes and then use mobile phone technology to communicate with healthcare workers on a treatment plan. We know that technology can work in Papua New Guinea. Since 2012, ADB has invested in a digital public health information pilot, which is now being rolled out. And this system tracks service delivery in rural remote settings. We get real-time information about what services are being provided, and it also tracks disease outbreaks. But we also know that technology can only work as well as it is integrated into the overall architecture of the digital health system and of the health sector more broadly. We also know that technology needs to be sustainable, it needs to be acceptable, and most of all, it needs to improve that patient experience when they interact with the health sector. So on that, we know that patients and people's experience of the health sector is not necessarily rational. It's highly personal. We know that people's experience in how they choose to deliver or how they choose to move through a health system is not linear. And most of all, health is everybody's business. My aim here at the ADB is to ensure that we are continuously pushing ourselves and striving to deliver health projects that best meet the needs of the populations today and in the future.